am privileged, y'all are privileged as well, to be sitting and joined by someone who played with Aaron Rodgers. Didn't win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, but did win a Super Bowl in your own right. Cannot wait to hear what you have to say. Honored to get to that opinion. But Joy, let's start with you, because you've been very passionate about this topic. Would just making the playoffs, just doing that, would that be a success for Rodgers in year one?
I mean, I don't think so. He's making $50 million a year. It was a massive trade. He asked for a trade.
To
was
the Jets.
Very specific about where he was going. Did not provide a long list. Was not open-minded at all about where he wanted to go. Went to a place we had a lot of questions about. No, I think the expectations should be higher because it's Aaron Rodgers. Realistically, making the playoffs for the Jets, wild success. I mean, put up a banner. Big, big, big deal. In the AFC, making the playoffs with the gauntlet that everyone's going to have to go through will really be, for most teams, considered to be a success this year. But I think for everything that's happened, the way that he left, the status that he is, the expectations that should rightfully be there, and the fact that he missed the playoffs last year in Green Bay, and we still think that he is of the caliber of elite players that warranted all of this drama and all this talk and all these expectations. I think that they should do more than just make the playoffs.
You the one I want to hear from.
What me?
You play with Rodgers.
Oh, yeah, so, I mean, I 1,000% believe that this would be a success for Aaron Rodgers, just because he's going there and helping to reshape what they were missing. They weren't a quarterback away from the Super Bowl. They were a quarterback away from the playoffs, and which they haven't seen, as you mentioned, in 13 years. And now I will say, I hear what Joy is saying in terms of what they gave him financially, what they brought over for him skill player-wise. He has his coordinator. He has everything he needs. But for the Jets alone, I think just making the playoffs is enough. Now, not just having a winning record. They need to make the playoffs, and if anything other than that is more, because I don't believe also this is a one-year situation. You know, he's not coming in right now in a one-year deal. We need to go to the Super Bowl and get this done. This is like, come here and at least make some noise and try to take over the AFC East.
Oof, that's a tall task.
Yeah, but that is what's required of him to come there. He's not coming there just to be there and win games. He's here to make the playoffs and try to take over the AFC East, which they haven't done in over a decade.
Very good point. I do think making the playoffs alone will be a success for the Jets, not for Aaron Rodgers. I'm kind of with Joy on this one. Like, if you are Aaron Rodgers, a four-time MVP, making $50 million, but more importantly, a four-time MVP, there are a lot of guys getting paid a lot of money that aren't as good as that money will suggest. So I'm going to talk about what he has accomplished. You're a four-time MVP. For Aaron Rodgers, you have to do more than just make the playoffs. Since when is that an accomplishment?
Right.
The bar has been raised by you, Rodgers, not by us. But if you are a Jets fan, you ain't been to the playoffs since Aaron Rodgers last won a Super Bowl. I believe that is 2011. If you're a Jets fan, if you make the playoffs, imagine the elation, the joy, the happiness that will go on in the Meadowlands just by making the playoffs.
I will say this, though.
Utter success in my mind. Utter success.
I'll say this. For 2023, just making the playoffs is a success. But his whole duration in New York, he better get a Super Bowl. You know, he cannot leave.
Whoa.
He can't. What do you mean, whoa?
Super Bowl. He's got to win a Super Bowl.
Yes.
You're putting the bar at Aaron Rodgers winning a Super Bowl in New York. How many years did he have to do that in Green Bay?
That's what he's playing for now. He's not here just to keep playing. He's playing to get another Super Bowl, because that's the only thing that anyone can ever say about him is that he has one Super Bowl ring. All right. So that's what he's doing now. So I'm saying this year, yes, playoffs.
How many years is he going to play?
He's still cold. He's still that dude.
He's about to turn 40, which is why I would say.
What's that supposed to mean?
I would say making the playoffs. You guys are focused on what Aaron has done.
No, we're not.
I'm focused on what Aaron last was in Green Bay, which was a guy who couldn't beat Jared Goff.
Which, if he did what he did last year for the Jets are in the playoffs.
Okay, that's which is why I'm saying that making the playoffs, I like where you're going, making the playoffs next year would be a success, okay?
This year.
This coming season. Because let's keep in mind who we're talking about. We're not talking about Tom Brady joining the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers working for Robert Saleh, who's 11-23 and is a third-year coach. We're talking about the New York Jets, who have not had a winning record in 7 years. So making the playoffs, I presume, is going to mean that they have a winning record.
Yeah,
that's going to bring some joy to Gotham.
No doubt.
Right? Making the playoffs is joy. Now, overall, I believe that if this whole Aaron Rodgers New York Jets experiment is simply a playoff appearance, then that's going to be an abject disappointment failure. I'm not going to put the bar so high as he's got to win a Super Bowl, but if it's just a playoff appearance this year, then it has to be at the very least a playoff win next season in order for this to feel like it was worth it.
But you don't bring in an almost 40-year-old quarterback to just get playoff wins. That's why I'm saying his whole duration there, they make this move so he can go get them a Super Bowl.
That is a good point. That's a very
That's what it's
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's not a long-term investment.
Truth be told, you could have matured a rookie. Yeah, hopefully Zach Wilson would have been that rookie, but you could mature a rookie to make the playoffs.
We're talking about the New York Jets.
We're talking about Aaron Rodgers.
I understood.
Unstoppable force, immovable object.
Okay.
Like,
If they traded for like Kyler Murray, then okay, yes, they got time to figure this out and what have you. This is an immediate. This is a Tom Brady transaction. This is a Peyton Manning transaction in Denver.
Correct.
This is right along those lines right there.
I get that, but this is also New York. I have seen New York overreach. I've seen New York go get a Carmelo Anthony. What, to win a championship? No, No, we wanted that star power, and we sucked for a long time.
That's a good point, though. That Melo point is that the New York of it all is a good point.
Yeah, because they've been bad for so long, if we can go get a star and bring them to New York, and we can be back in the mix.
That's Knicks, Nets. That's...
Joy, you're just relishing, I feel like.
I'm very happy right now.
Why is that?
I mean, because this is everything I've been saying. I keep getting told that having expectations of this is unrealistic because it's the Jets. But my thing is, fine. If it is unrealistic, let's stop talking about it. There's other teams that are legitimate contenders that we could spend time pontificating about what they're going to become.
And I've been right there with you.
But that's not what you make these moves for. You got to man up.
I'm a joy man right now.
You got to step up to the plate when you make moves like this. There should be real expectations for Aaron Rodgers. And there is something with Aaron Rodgers as well, that he's so good and so talented that we've sort of overlooked his lack of postseason success outside of the Super Bowl, of course, which nobody can take away from him. But he's 7-9 in the playoffs since 2011.
Yeah.
What are the Jets?
Okay, I hear you. They're non-existent. They're non-existent, but that's the past. You went and you built this team. You have a good defense under Saleh. You have young players who are at the top of the league for their age. You made this move. You put your big boy pants on.
That's what I'm saying. Guys get paid.
So step into that. The expectation should be higher than just making the playoffs with Aaron Rodgers. If you wanted to just make the playoffs, you go get a Derek Carr. You go get a young player. You trade up in the draft and try your luck again.
So you're saying year one, they got to go.
I'm not saying they need to go to the Super Bowl in year one. I'm saying that the expectation should be win a playoff game in year one with Aaron Rodgers.
So we agree.
No, you said make the playoffs.
She said make and win a playoff game in year one.
They should win a playoff game in year one. So we're saying the same thing.
Now we are.
I do think there's a difference, if we're being honest with ourselves and being honest with y'all at home, there's a difference between expectation and realistic expectation. I was thinking about this in getting ready for the show. In order for the Jets to win a playoff game year one, y'all do understand they would have to beat either the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Ravens, the Bills, or the Dolphins. I don't anticipate that the Jets would be the 5 seed. So I anticipate the Jets will be the 6 seed and or the 7 seed, meaning they will play the 2 seed and or the 3 seed, likely being the Chiefs and or the Ravens or the Bengals or the Bills. It is doable. Not at all saying it's not doable. But the expectation to win that, great. But the realistic expectation, right now the Jets are going into the season 6 games worse than the Buffalo Bills. Bills won 13 last year, Jets won 7. I think Aaron Rodgers is worth several games. I do not think Aaron Rodgers is worth
Here's the beauty of playing with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. I remember being on defense. Even, in our room, we have the goal board. Like, don't give up 17, right? No, this many first downs, 1 on 3rd down, all this stuff. But we knew, like, if we if we just
Give up 23.
Yeah, exactly. If we give up 23, like
He'll be all right.
we got this guy. We okay. We're okay. And I've been blessed. I play with Favre, I play with Rodgers, I play with Eli. I've been in a situation where it's like, look, we got a guy who, when push comes to shove, they're gonna get the points for us.
Yeah.
And so, for the Jets, I think the most you can fact check for me because you got your iPad there. I think the most they given up was like what 28.
Last year, if they would have scored 21, they would have won 11 games.
That's
they
what
would
I'm
have scored
saying.
21
Yeah. So
on average.
just that alone is why I feel strongly about. You mentioned all those teams; they will be able to compete against all those teams. Now, obviously, the biggest thing is health, right? Losing Breece Hall
But to me,
was a big deal.
that's not the biggest thing.
But that was a big deal last year when they had him. When Breece Hall was cooking,
they were rolling. I believe
they lost him. That was a big deal.
Jets started off hot, but Joy's brought this up before. I will ask you, put you on the hot seat, if you will. The biggest thing for me is which Aaron Rodgers are we getting?
Regular season?
Are we getting, not even regular season post, are we getting 2022 Rodgers or 2021
Bro,
and prior
if they
Rodgers?
got Rodgers last year, what he did.
They would have won a playoff
It would have
game.
been just
they wouldn't have been just fine, actually, no. Because they still would have had to see the Bills and or the Chiefs and or the Bengals. And Rodgers last year, he didn't throw for 300 yards once in a game.
Yep.
That Rodgers is not beating the Bengals or the Chiefs and likely not beating the Bills. So they wouldn't have been just fine.
Listen, for a combined, all the quarterbacks they played last year, they threw 56%. Aaron Rodgers threw 64%. 26 and 12. Like, for anyone else.
But those aren't good numbers.
For anyone else, that's legit for what they had defensively.
Understood. You're saying for what they had defensively, that's good.
Right.
But when you are facing the likes of Joe Burrow, when you are facing the likes of Patrick Mahomes, and you're facing the likes of Lamar Jackson, Josh
And
Allen,
your defense
Justin
is not
Herbert,
giving up 30. Your defense is not giving up 30. So, like, I'm not worried about it.
So you think last year's Rodgers is good enough to take the Jets where they want to?
Absolutely.
Whew. Okay, judging by Joy's face, she does not agree.
No, I mean, I think he might win enough regular season games to get them to the playoffs. But again, if it's just making the playoffs,
Right, which is the original question, which I would think that would be a success. If what he just did, what he did last year, and last year he played under circumstances of he didn't want to be there.
Correct.
There was all kinds of things
Correct.
going on emotionally.
Correct.
Clearly, right now he is ecstatic. He's happy. Things are going well. He has his coordinator, like I mentioned, does everything he needs. He got $50 million, like everything.
Yeah, I'm
$50
happier
million.
at 36 than I was at 19. But
Say it again?
you asked me to run a 100-meter dash. It's going to take me a lot longer right now than it did when I was 19.
Well, then you just run more, and then you'll be all right.
I don't know about that. I think that it's hard
So you
for
got
me
willpower.
to make.
You got it.
There's only some willpower can only do so much.
Yeah. Mind is willing, the body
I'm gonna
ain't.
get there in 24 seconds. The issue I have is I feel like we are laying this kind of soft landing for Aaron Rodgers. Like it's okay if you just do this. But I think the bar has been reset for several reasons. One, I think Tom Brady started it. Then Matthew Stafford. Then the expectations that we had that were not reached for Russell Wilson. So we've seen these top-level quarterbacks be unhappy and leave and force their way out, go to very specific places, and have either the highest level of success that you can have or be the worst that you can possibly be. And so I think the expectations for Aaron Rodgers should be much closer to Tom Brady and Matthew Stafford, where that bar was set, than it is Russell Wilson, than just improving a team.
Stafford and Brady, they knew the situation they were going into. Russell had no idea the hurricane he was going to deal with. Like everything was all great. He was like, new city, I'm going to do this. He had no idea. Again, he went to a new head coach.
Yeah, well, I didn't like that.
I'm saying to your point about basketball with him, where Brady came, brought everything he wanted with him. Stafford came, had everything he needed. Peyton obviously wasn't traded, it was different, but he came and brought everything he needed with him. So
Rodgers has done much of the same.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. He's like, I'm not going to go to a situation where I can't have, especially at this point in my career, where I can't have everything I needed.
So shouldn't the expectations be very high?
Which I think
I'm saying
they are. I'm saying his duration, a Super Bowl win is in order during his time he can't leave the Jets and not do that.
But there's only how long is he going to play though is the question. Because I only see this as a 2-year
situation. They paying $50 million. You play as long as you need to.
So I mean, it's really fascinating to wonder, like, can Aaron Rodgers bring the Jets a Super Bowl? I think the last Super Bowl they won, maybe Super Bowl III?
69.
Was it Super Bowl III? Was the last Super Bowl they won? So I'm like, I don't think they've won since Namath. If you can come out here and do that, like, that's hard to do. Final thoughts.
40-year-old Aaron Rodgers is going to bring the New York Jets. Just put New York Jets.
Stop aging the dude, man. How do you?
New York
Is he really 38?
39 in December.
Why are you giving him 2 extra years?
He's 39.
39, 40.
39.
Wait, is he 39?
39.
Okay, you can call him 40 then.
Just like that?
I mean, 38 is not.
That
Like, you're not
was
gonna
easy.
call me 40
That
when I'm
was easy.
38.
I'm 30.
He's gonna be 40. He's gonna be 40 this year.
I'm 38.
He'll be 40 during
I'm
this
40.
season.
No, you're very much 38. He's 39. Okay.
Yeah, if you call me 40 when I'm 38,
apologies.
we're gonna scrap. I'm 38.
39.
We'll wrap it up. Go ahead, Rick.
39-year-old Aaron Rodgers is going to lead the New York Jets to a Super Bowl.
Crazier things have
How
happened.
ridiculous that sound. That doesn't sound like a real sentence.
Well, we will see if it will be here in the next several months.
Subscribe here to get the latest from Speak, and go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.